As a retail player, after taking a pretty long hiatus from World of Warcraft this year in January, I decided to return to the game. But instead of jumping on retail because I didn't really like Midnight, I decided to go back and try the Burning Crusade Anniversary. As a brand new, basically, retail baby in Classic, I very quickly fell in love with Classic WoW, its systems, its magic, its incredible leveling experience, and the overall fun I had throughout the Burning Crusade Anniversary. And in this video, I'm gonna discuss the current problems that are plaguing this beautiful expansion and how Blizzard's inaction and those things that they have acted on have in the end kind of harmed the longevity and shortened the shelf life of this expansion. To understand the current problems of the Burning Crusade, we must go back to the beginning, all the way in the TBC pre-patch, which happened in February. During the pre-patch, the first big controversial thing happened for the Anniversary servers when Blizzard decided to absolutely gut and nerf Karazhan, Magteridon and Gruul, and the same thing happened for the current tier 5 raids SSC and Tempest Keep. I remember my Alliance guild at the time when this was announced was not very happy about this, and when we cleared Karazhan, Gruul and Magteridon, after second reset my entire Alliance guild, no joke, has completely disbanded. This has forced me to quit Alliance altogether and reroll on Horde on the same server. I leveled as quick as I could, and this time I decided not to buy the boost, so I leveled my Shaman from 1 to 58, and then finally after about a month leveling in Classic, I crossed into Outland. And I have to say the leveling experience in Outland was still pretty solid. You could find Hellfire Ramparts, Blood Furnace and all these other early dungeons that people were farming in Hellfire Peninsula pretty easily. So I thought, wow, maybe this controversial decision of them releasing nerf content wasn't so bad considering how many people are still playing these early dungeons in TBC. And I assume that heroic dungeons later on and also the raids and other content in the game is going to be pretty packed if normal dungeons are so active, right? It only makes sense. The first big problem I started to notice is when I got to level 70 and started to do my first heroics. I noticed almost immediately a massive difference in activity between heroics dungeons from then on my Shaman to my Rogue, which started to play in February. Barely anybody at peak hours on Spine was doing any other heroics other than Slave Pen skip and Steamroll skip. And they do those because they're free badges and free primals, because those dungeons are piss poor easy. And I quickly discovered why heroic dungeons have dropped so much in activity. The first group I tried to apply for heroic dungeons has told me three things. Before I was even in the dungeon, they told me this: primal is a shard, unwanted BOEs, recipes, basically anything that is worth any gold is a shard. Know all mechanics or I'm gonna leave the run. And I put myself in the skin of a possible new player coming to Classic from other versions of WoW, or maybe they never played WoW, and can you imagine the look on their faces when they just want to do a heroic dungeon and they cannot get any loot from it? The way that people treat them is by threatening them before the run even starts, and they could see how well they play the game. And I think the main reason why people became so toxic and tried to gatekeep heroic runs, and they want to get everything in just one run, gold, primals and everything else they need, is because heroic dungeons compared to the raids were never adjusted. So you have super peaceful easy Karazhan, Magteridon's Lair and Gruul, and then you have significantly harder, more annoying, well actually scratch that, they're not really harder in my opinion. Like Manatoms and SL are joke of dungeons in my opinion when it comes down to the mechanics. They're just very tedious. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Heroic dungeons in the Burning Crusade Anniversary are tedious. So why do those? And why waste your time being there for possible like demonic run that lasts 1 hour when you can just go like AFK in Karazhan and get way better gear, right? You remember earlier when I said that the root cause problem of everything that's happening in TBC was because they made the raids so easy. The raids being so easy, guys, is what has killed heroic dungeons completely. We got the unnerfed versions of the heroic dungeons and we got the super nerfed raids. And yes, of course, I know that heroic dungeons are usually just considered filler content, and this is where you get your previous stuff so you can be ready for raids. But guys, the problem is that that is the hardest content in the game. If I want to have some fun and have a challenge in Classic WoW in TBC Anniversary, I should play heroic dungeons because the raids are a joke. So heroic dungeons should be the thing we should be playing, right? But they are dead because the raids are so easy. Do you see how that decision of Blizzard to make the raid super easy has killed heroic dungeons completely, made them absolutely irrelevant? The second major problem, which also comes because the raids were made so easy, it meant that people got their best gear super easily and they got bored on their mains pretty quickly. And usually in every other version of WoW, you would just look towards creating an alt character. And this is exactly what I was thinking about doing as well. But then the other major problem about Anniversary, at least on Spine Shatter, is a horrible, horrible economy. Honestly, the worst economy I had ever seen in any version of WoW I have played so far. If you want to make an alt, that alt is going to have 2 professions on him. That alt is gonna have to get all the enchants and gems, flasks, consumables, and other things if you want him to get invited to any pug raids or even guild runs. This is gonna cost you upwards, depending on what professions you pick and what enchants and gems you want to put in your character, between 5 to 10,000 gold, guys. And if you do all the Shadow Moon Valley quests at level 70, all the Netherstone quests at level 70, you're gonna get about 3k gold, and I'm deducting here 1.2k gold because you're gonna need to get the basic flying so you can even fly up to the Netherstone dungeons and later Tempest Keep. And with only 2 to 3k gold, you cannot really sustain your character if you want to play every aspect of the Burning Crusade. While you might be able to enchant your T4 and T5 items, you quickly might replace them by Hydro, which is coming in like a month from this video coming out. Blizzard has done basically nothing here to try to alleviate a bit of the economic pressure that players are facing in the Burning Crusade. So the only real way for you to get a lot of gold at once is going the illegal way, which is basically what 90% of people are doing on Spinesetter server. Yes guys, you heard me correctly. The best way to get 5 to 10k gold is just to pay €100 on any of the illegal sites and get your gold. Why bother spending hours and weeks farming Primal Air, Mana, or all the other reagents there, competing with bots who are like auto-reporting you and potentially getting your account banned? Why do all of that when you can just go buy gold and most likely you're never gonna get banned for it? So most people so far on TBC that I met really only have one main character. So if the heroic dungeons are dead, if the raids are cleared in like 1 hour, if you have a fully maxed out character after you bought gold or however you made your gold, what do you do then? You have battlegrounds and you have arenas. So let's speak about those. First, the battlegrounds in TBC Anniversary are dead, guys. They're dead. First of all, the balance is also terrible in TBC. The resilience stat has also kind of completely ruined some classes, in my humble opinion, compared to Classic. Many people already don't like that. So I would say just resilience stat existing in the Burning Crusade has already eliminated like half the people who want to play BGs. So let's talk about the half that does play BGs. So the BGs, because of a Blizzard change that happened about a month and a half ago, they increased the honor gains for honor kills in battlegrounds. And you would think, naively as me did back then, that this is a very good change. And on paper, it's a pretty good change. I mean, people get honor faster, they get geared faster. This is pretty good for the game, right? Not really. And here's why. So if the best way to get honor is just by getting honor kills, this means that you don't have to try to win the BG. You don't have to go carry the flag if you're playing Warstone Gulch. You don't have to care about any of the bases. Hey, in fact, you might as well just AFK the entire BG. And that's exactly what's happening on TBC Anniversary BGs. Nobody plays them to win, nobody plays them to have fun or try to maybe improve at the game or try to test their characters as skill. People go in there and they just zerg mid a little bit, and then if the enemy team has gotten, like let's say you're playing AB, they've gotten, I don't know, Blacksmith, your team, and I shit you not, I stream this game every single day, I've streamed a lot of BGs, they just give up. Yes, you heard me correctly, your team is ready to throw 2,000 tickets off an AB because your team lost Blacksmith. They're not gonna try to get maybe lumber mill or go flank on stables. No, they're just gonna go AFK. I'm pretty sure you guys have had the same experience as me. People are gonna say let them go next, and it's mostly the players from Thunderstrike. If you're playing on Spinesetter, they're just gonna say go next because they have chosen to play a PvE server, so they don't bother with PvP at all. But because Blizzard has increased honor kills, if you're trying, you're still gonna give them a lot of honor kills. So basically you're playing the BG for them and they're gonna reap the same rewards as you, whether they win or lose. So Blizzard completely eliminated any need to win any battlegrounds. And that also resulted in AV being completely dead. Me personally, I really like AV and epic battlegrounds in general. And after I have crafted my Deep Thunder, after I spent 5,000 gold on that fucking thing, it kind of sucks that I cannot play any epic BGs. Because why would you play AV? It's long, you need to win to get real honor, there's not many honor kills. So AV has been nuked out of orbit. Same with Warstone Gulch. Basically, the most active BG you can play is EOTS. And like I said, the first time your team loses the flag, they're AFK and you're playing EOTS against like a pre-mate on the alliance side. And that brings me to my second point about BGs. You are mostly just fighting pre-mates because BGs are so dead. Those people that do play them seriously are just pre-mates who are just trying to get honor caps and are trying to gear their alts so they have a couple friends boost them on their mains. So you're gonna face people who have bought thousands and thousands of gold. They have all the arena gear. They're like completely decked out. And you're gonna be there with like, I don't know, like maybe like half a season 1 honor set, and you're trying to get like 20 EOTS marks, your team's AFK, they're trolling and crying in spawn, and you're trying to play BG against the pre-mid. And it's not fun. And that's why it's dead, guys. Those two reasons. So to sum this video up, guys, the Burning Crusade Anniversary, if you're wondering whether you should start playing it right now, I honestly, in good faith, Unless you're gonna be playing Arena and you're just interested in raid login, in good faith, I cannot recommend that you start playing now. I think the Burning Crusade is gonna have a revival during Black Temple and maybe Hyjal, because for many people TBC peaks with the Black Temple raid, and then after that it's gonna fall off a cliff again because Sun Plateau is gonna be the last raid, and people are just gonna log in and maybe prepare the characters for obviously an inevitable Wrath of the Lich King anniversary. So Blizzard just, I think, really missed the mark with TBC Anniversary, guys. I think it is a great expansion, and anniversary servers have been great fun. I think I had more fun in TBC Anniversary than anything I played on retail in recent memory. I just really hoped it would live a little bit longer. Hopefully with Hyjal coming out soon and the Black Temple, we're gonna see a little bit of a revival in TBC. How about you guys? Are you still playing TBC Anniversary? Do you agree with my criticisms of it? How do you feel about the game? Are you only raid logging? Are you playing heroic dungeons? Are you playing battlegrounds? What are you doing in TBC Anniversary? If you're still playing, I would really like to know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. I stream World of Warcraft every single day, every version of WoW, Classic TBC Anniversary, Season of Discovery, Retail, everything. So I'm gonna leave the links to my socials down in this video's description. So I hope to see you on Twitch one day. Peace out.